Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 267. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my magnificent co-host, Mike. What's up, Mike?
So magnificent that I'm going to do a magic trick and drop out for the interview and come back at the end of the show. It needs to be said, we have the returning Derek Robertson on the show today. Yes, the Derek Robertson, the artist for Space Bastards, and that's it. No, I'm just kidding. The co-creator of The Boys. You got season 3 dropping next week. Batman Fortress came out last week. Amazing first issue for Batman book. Love his art. Love the way he draws Batman. So we're going to be chatting with him again. He's a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm sure Chris can handle that. He's going to be chatting Star Wars with him. We got a lot of Star Wars news this week.
Oh, yeah.
So how does this work now? Disney has two separate, because they do the D23 isn't Star Wars, right? The Star Wars is its own thing now?
D23 was always like a Disney thing, and then Marvel got sucked into that because they own Marvel. Right. Star Wars Celebration has been a thing for a while. I think it's been a thing since before Disney bought them.
Okay.
So I think that's something they inherited.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the main reason for that.
Yeah. Either way, it was going on this week, and we got a lot of announcements for Star Wars stuff. I guess we'll just jump right into it because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I know Chris is probably really excited about this. So they did confirm we're getting Mandalorian season 3. I did see a leak of the trailer online. Someone snuck an awful video out, and they're probably murdered by Disney now. You probably can't find them. They probably took them away promptly after posting the video.
They're in the prison underneath the Magic Castle.
Yeah, there's a Rancor down there. It's oh, this isn't so bad. And then they raise the gates, and a Rancor is there's just a bunch of dead people with Star Wars shirts on, skeletons with Star Wars shirts, and cracked phones and shit because all of the people that try to sneak shit out.
And then the backgrounds is the head of Walt Disney on the robot body, in Futurama.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, man, that could be a story. Write that one down. I'm sure we'd have a lot of trademarking issues, so we have to adjust some names here and there. But other than that,
yeah.
Anyway, so I saw the leaked season 3 trailer. It pretty much seems like the Mandalorian is going to Mandalore to get his to win back his honor because he took his helmet off, whatever. He was shunned by the all-powerful Mandalorian, the head, I don't know what the head chief, I don't know what you call her. But he's going to Mandalore, and there's a lot of Bo-Katan in this season. So it almost looks like they're going to be fighting against each other, kind of thing.
I feel like this season's got to be a lot of you have the Darksaber and I want it.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna they show her sitting on a throne and stuff, which is pretty hype because I thought her character was really cool. So I think that's kind of what it's centered around. He's trying to get to Mandalore. Bo-Katan wants a saber, and then hijinks ensue.
And then there's a cute little Yoda thing.
Yeah,
there's
a cute to break the tension everywhere. And we got a trailer for Andor, which will premiere August 31st, which is kind of soon. That's the character from Rogue One.
Yep.
In the same vein, it looks a lot like Rogue One. It feels like a war movie. This third world country is under the grips of the Empire, and they're starting to rebel. So I thought it looked awesome. There's a lot of cool new things they've kind of added to Star Wars, this almost like a Native American tribe feel to where the town is, and these different things that they're doing. So I thought the trailer was really good.
Yeah, I like the idea of setting it right as the Empire's taking over and kind of getting into the nitty gritty of how somebody comes to fight against the Empire and join the rebellion. That's a cool premise to be a part of. So
yeah,
I'm down for the show.
I think it looks great. More Star Wars stuff. 2 new shows were announced. one from Spider-Man No Way Home director John Watts and writer Chris Ford called Skeleton Crew. The series will take place after the Return of the Jedi and be about the reconstruction that follows the fall of the Empire. And Jude Law has been cast as the lead. So is this finally like the Kevin Smith like dudes rebuilding the Death Star and cleaning the bathroom show that we thought about for so many years? I'm sure it'd be cooler than that, but
and it's so vague, like
right.
But you've got three names that I respect, being John Watts and Chris Ford, who have been the helms behind all three of those Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jude Law is just a phenomenal actor. So, I mean, it's a Star Wars on it, so I'm in on it from day one. But I'll be interested to see more of what this is all about.
Yeah. Final announcement was a new animated series for kids that will premiere spring 2023 called Young Jedi. It'll take place during the High Republic era and follow a group of younglings. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's about time that they got back to doing some kid shows. I mean,
yeah.
As much as I loved Clone Wars and Rebels and all that, like, remember at its core, those were kid shows. Like, they weren't. I wasn't the audience for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I dig the High Republic era. What they've been doing with it so far has been really cool. And I think it's about time they got past books and comics and kind of did something, either cartoon or live action with it.
Yeah, it's always it's good to get like younger people into that universe too. Okay, so I know I did it at the end of the episode last week. I'm going to do the quick Pat's Flash Facts here, season 8, episode 16.
Oh boy.
This episode of The Flash kind of interested me because it starts off with the team playing D&D. So that's pretty cool. Pat just wished it stopped there, he said.
Stranger Flash?
Yeah, Stranger Flash. They're like, look, we can do it too. I would totally watch a whole episode of all of them playing D&D. Dr. Peter Orloff shows up and steals a gamma ray from Mercury Labs. Okay. Barry finds the gamma ray. Orloff uses it on him, causes Barry to start aging faster as he uses his speed. As he gets older, his powers are weakened. He starts losing his memory. As Barry gets older, Orloff gets younger. Barry is able to destroy the gamma ray machine, restores his youth and Orloff's old age. The episode ends with some more D&D. Okay. And then Barry goes to visit Caitlin and discovers her plot to bring Frost back to life. He then destroys her lab to stop her from bringing Frost back. So Caitlin is just a fan of the show, and Barry is the producers. He's like, no, you won't take anything. You won't give us anything that we want back.
First of all, DC. We all know that gamma rays turn you into a Hulk.
Right.
That's what they do.
They don't do anything other than that.
I don't care about the copyright infringement. Turn the Flash into a Hulk.
Yeah, turn him big and red or something, you know? Come on.
That's actually... So, you remember... So it's DC versus Vampires where they had to kill Flash, because if Flash became a vampire, he'd he'd just kill everything.
Yeah, he would just infect everybody. Yeah.
Can you imagine the Hulk with the Flash's speed?
Oh, that would be sick. That would be sick.
We would be doomed.
Yeah. Also, I'm just thinking about it now. Like, Barry playing D&D, like, couldn't he just see the rolls before they happen and just manipulate it, like, without anybody even knowing?
Yeah, he'd be nat 20 left and right.
Nat 20s all day.
He'd move so fast. He'd move that dice so fast that nobody would even know. My voice is cracked there.
Yeah, that's all right.
He'd move that dice so fast that nobody would know, and he'd just be, I don't know, guys, just hitting 20s left and right.
I know. Loaded die. He'd have to throw a few like bad numbers in there so people wouldn't catch on. Okay, I'm going to talk about, because we're on the subject of D&D, I'll just talk about the first episode of Stranger Things I watched. No spoilers, really. Season 4 came out. There's some D&D being played. We kind of see where every kid is now and how they're dealing with high school, because they are in high school now. there's some new characters introduced. There's some weird things happening with the new characters. It's more like horror aspect this season because some like creepy stuff's going on. And there's another monster, and I think it's almost playing on like the Mind Flayer from D&D. But it's pretty sick. We get a lot. The first episode's over an hour. I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes. These episodes are long, so I watched one episode last night. I was like, all right, that's enough for tonight. It's hard to binge those all in a row when they're so long. But yeah, I think overall it's good to see all the characters back and where they are. You get a good grip of like, because there is a lot of characters to follow. And I say everybody's back pretty much. So, and they're all, you get to a little clip of each person, and it's a good start. I think by the end of the episode, you're like, holy shit, I gotta watch more. So, now for the elephant in the room, the long-awaited Obi-Wan episode 1 and 2 discussion.
We're going full spoilers because I have some issues we got to talk about.
Oh boy. So, the first episode is a little slow compared to the second episode. I think overall I liked it. Spoilers, but the fact that they left Leia out of the trailers was pretty crazy. That was a crazy reveal. Was not expecting.
I'd say so. I was constantly wondering what this show was going to be about.
Yeah, right.
Because you can't just have like Kenobi sitting in the desert for 6 episodes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was awesome that Leia was brought in. The actress that plays her is adorable and amazing.
She's so good. Yeah, she's really good. She's a young Leia. I mean, I could watch a show with so Disney set us up for another TV show with like young Leia and Luke because like I could watch a whole show about her.
And then the fact that they got the parents to come back as well.
Yeah, Bail Organa. Yep.
Yeah. So that whole thing I was shocked by that too. But and it was cool. I don't think we've ever really gotten a live action look at Leia's planet.
Right. You get to see Alderaan, which is sick. It's beautiful. The mountains. It's almost like Switzerland or something with like the Alps behind it and stuff. Yeah, that was a beautiful scenery. So it's like a little thing, but like Obi-Wan, he's kind of watching Luke from a distance, but we find out that like he's the one in A New Hope when, Luke is all like, I want to go to Tashi Station. He's like playing with his ships. Like we find out that Obi-Wan is the one who bought him the toy ships. So that was a pretty cool, like, because his father's like, you should be a farmer. Like he would never buy him spaceships, right? That was cool. The Inquisitors are interesting.
Real quick, that scene was kind of heartbreaking too because the acting was so good. Like I was talking about with Moon Knight, like when you look into Obi-Wan's eyes, you can see like how he just like was heartbroken because Luke's sitting there pretending to pod race. And it just it circles right back around to when Obi-Wan first met Anakin.
Oh, we got to talk about the intro, dude. The recap of the new trilogy, or the middle trilogy. That was one of the best recaps. Like the catching up of like where are we now? I thought that was really good. I could watch that instead of the movies now.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like they did a good job of like pulling the important and pretty good scenes out of those movies. So I thought that was good. Overall, I really liked it. So the Inquisitors, what do you think about the Inquisitors?
I like the Inquisitors. I've always liked the Inquisitors. They're really great. They were well done in live action. The Grand Inquisitor's look was a little different, but we've only seen him in animation, and stuff gets exaggerated in animation, so I can live with it. I mean, do you want me to get to my problem? Because my problem's in episode 2.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember where episode 1 wraps up. So like we find out that like Leia gets kidnapped and Obi-Wan has to go find her.
So they have that really great scene where they go into the area where Obi-Wan is getting his, let's just call it a camel, and the Inquisitors show up and they're looking for a Jedi. Of course, Obi-Wan thinks it's him. It's not him. And they actually threaten Owen, and you're like, is Owen going to give him up?
Yeah, right.
Amazing scene there.
That was really good. Inquisitors just like chopping off limbs.
Yeah, so the woman who plays the third sister, she's really good at being just an ass.
Yeah, just a piece of shit. Yeah,
like I hated her from moment one. She did an amazing job at that.
I think what they're gonna reveal is that she was a youngling from the intro that they showed from Order 66.
That's what I think too, because they constantly are like, where, because of where you came from, like, okay, you were trained to be a Jedi.
Yeah, because that's why she hates Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan trained Anakin. Anakin comes and starts killing younglings, her friends, right? So, and he wasn't there to protect them, so that's probably why she's like, you piece of shit, like, I'm gonna kill you.
And so Leia constantly goes out and like runs into the forest, and then we see her get kidnapped by the bassist from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, it looked like Flea.
It is Flea.
It is Flea?
It is Flea. I looked it up. I was like, is that Flea?
Oh my god. It did look like Flea, dude. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, 100% is Flea.
That's awesome.
And that's when Leia's father comes and talks to... Well, first they call Obi-Wan. He's like, I'm not that guy anymore.
I can't do that.
And then they actually go to the planet and say, like, you're the only one I trust. You have to do this, blah, blah, blah. And that's when he kind of goes out in the desert, finds his lightsaber, and is like, let's go do this shit. And takes off.
He finds 2 lightsabers.
Well, yeah, because one was Anakin's.
Yeah.
And that's where the episode ends with him walking onto the ship, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Episode 2, we're now on the whatever planet that was. I don't remember if they said. And he's looking for Leia, and he comes across I forget the actor's name, but the guy pretending to be a Jedi.
The cab driver from Deadpool.
See, you say that, I say the programmer from Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've never seen Silicon Valley. I just don't know his name. He's a great actor, though.
Oh, you should watch Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
It'd be right up your alley. Anyways, so yeah, he comes across that guy, he makes a deal with him, he finds Leia. Flea gets the jump on Obi-Wan. And that's when he drops like the spice that makes them all go crazy. He finds Leia, and then the rest of the episode is basically them like trying to find their way to this off the planet.
Yeah.
And Leia being like, I don't trust you. She has good instincts on that one.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
And then they finally trap Obi-Wan. That's when the third sister says to Obi-Wan, like, Anakin's still alive, that Vader's a thing. And once again, amazing acting, because the look on his face tells it all. And the Grand Inquisitor comes and tells her, like, you know, you're worthless, get out of here. And that's when she stabs him with a lightsaber. Killing the Grand Inquisitor, and Obi-Wan gets away. There's some great scenes with different like bounty hunters and shit throughout there, but that's the gist of it.
The crocodile bounty hunter. Also, the little like Mr. Crocodile's coming. The fact that Obi-Wan hates blasters, but he literally used a blaster the whole time. How about Boba Fett's actor showing up as the war vet, the like clone trooper war vet begging for change? That was such a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah, that was a tough scene too. Like, you know, because Obi-Wan, and his role in all of that. That was a great scene. Yeah.
Yeah, and to have the actor come in just to do that, because technically they're all clones, right? So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And the aging works out too, because clones age faster, blah blah blah. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I had with the episode was the rooftop scene. Like he's fighting all the bounty hunters, and the third sister's running across the roof for like half an hour, and then like he like gets down off the roof, and she's still supposedly running across the roof. That was the only issue. I was like, is she still running? Like, where is she?
So it was a little weird that she was like watching the city like Batman.
Yeah, that was kind of strange.
And then just like went hardcore parkour throughout the city. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Leia falling off the roof and him having to finally use force powers for the first time.
Yep. That was pretty cool.
So my issue.
Yeah, what's your issue here?
So one, I say it's an issue. I think it's going to be immediately taken care of because I think the Grand Inquisitor isn't dead. I think that we're going to get our first look at like how the dark side like can heal wounds and create
cloning
some version of immortality.
Yep.
But on its head, the Grand Inquisitor is a key role in Rebels, which takes place after this. So to kill him in episode 2 seems a little strange.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's the same? Like you said, it looks different than that one, so maybe they replace him.
There is that theory running around that he gets replaced, but like, I don't know. He has the same markings in Rebels. Like if you pulled up a side by side, he has the same like face painting and all that. It's just, it's a cartoon, and because of the style of that cartoon, it's exaggerated. Like heads in that cartoon are like long and thin, as opposed to what a real human head looks like.
Okay, yeah.
So I poo-poo that a little bit, but it could be. I think the cooler idea is to just show him like either in a Bacta tank later on coming back, or just showing how the dark side can like heal wounds like that, because there is the idea in the background that the dark side can bring about immortality, Darth Sidious and all that bullshit.
Yep.
That'd be the cooler way to go about it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's taking him off the board so that the third sister, so it can be the third sister versus Obi-Wan.
I mean, we literally saw Anakin get his limbs chopped off and burned from lava. So like, obviously he's like, oh, he's still alive. Oh man. I think overall it's good. And then the reveal for him at the end we saw that coming. So that's why they gave us the first 2 episodes for sure.
Yeah. And that was a great way to end it, with just the cut to Vader in the tank. Phenomenal.
Yeah. And so we're going to see Hayden Christensen with like a rubber face, which I can't wait.
Which is amazing, because everybody thought like, oh, Hayden Christensen came back for a flashback or something.
Yeah, right. Also,
as much as I don't like him as Anakin, in those first 3 movies, like I thought he was kind of whiny, but if he comes back and puts on all that makeup to do like a couple scenes, all the respect in the world, dude. All the respect in the world to come back for that, because he's Hayden fucking Christensen. He can come back and do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to do this.
Right. I will say too, the like constantly Obi-Wan reaching out, trying to talk to Qui-Gon, that's going to happen at some point. And like, they teased us with it at the start, like, Qui-Gon, are you there? And you're like, oh man, he's going to pop up. Is he going to pop up? So I hope Liam Neeson comes back. He has to. Like, I'm more excited about Qui-Gon showing up for a conversation rather than seeing Vader, honestly.
So it's been a really, really long time since I've seen the prequels. And I forgot that there's that scene at the end of Revenge.
Me too.
Where Obi-Wan's like, or no, I'm sorry, where Yoda's like, I could teach you how to reach out to him, blah, blah, blah. And when they said that, I was like, that's pulled out for a reason.
Yeah, I said that too, because when they did that, I'm like, I don't remember that happening in the movies. Katie's like, oh yeah, you don't remember that? I'm like, I don't rewatch these movies that much. And most of the time,
I watch the good ones.
Yeah, I know. That's Revenge of the Sith is a good one, right? So,
I watch the old ones usually when I go back to Star Wars.
Right, exactly.
And occasionally I still go back to Force Awakens, because I still stand by that movie was good.
Force Awakens is amazing. But yeah, them pulling that scene and then him constantly asking, like, guide me, Qui-Gon, guide me. So
And Liam Neeson has said in the past that he would come back. He wants to come back to Star Wars.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
perfect. I think we can leave it there. I'm happy with how the show is. I'm sad that we already got 2 out of 7 episodes, so we're gonna go through them quick. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. This next month is gonna be crazy. You already got Stranger Things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Next week we're gonna have The Boys to talk about as well.
Oh yeah.
Didn't something else pop next week or next month as well? Am I missing something?
I'm not sure. I can't keep track now.
Umbrella Academy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's either next month or the beginning of July. I forget.
Yeah,
now.
I think it's July. Yep.
So it's gonna be a good couple months for shows.
Yeah. Movie news. So The Rock. I don't see this on here, but The Rock posted about when we're gonna get the trailer for Black Adam. He keeps posting a lot of pictures of himself, like as Black Adam, because they've been doing the reshoots. So he posted this. He posted a couple more pictures, and he says the trailer will be out on June 8th. So pretty soon. I'm excited for that.
That's like a week and a half away.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a dope trailer. That's all I'll say about that. Marvel dropped a new Thor: Love and Thunder trailer, which was sick. And I couldn't even tell it was Christian Bale at first. Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher. So we're doing what is it? What's the run? Is it the God Killer run, or right? Is that what it's called?
Something like that. It's basically Jason Aaron's run.
Yeah, which is sick. It looks so good. I cannot wait for this.
Yeah, which if you haven't read Jason Aaron's run, it's worth it. It's so good.
Yeah, I read the first trade. I just never finished it. It's really good.
Yeah, everything there I was happy with. God Butcher looks a little different. I mean, there obviously going to be some differences because the sword that the God Butcher uses is the Necro sword, which is connected to Venom. I don't think they're going to do that route with it.
Okay.
But that's fine. That's like a little tiny detail. Jane Foster looked fantastic.
Yeah, I thought she looked great. I think it's going to be a great interaction between them. What else? Oh, we see Thor. We see or not Thor, Zeus, right? Is that
Yes. Oh yeah, we should talk about the scene that's blown up the internet.
What, the naked Thor?
Yeah, so Russell Crowe is going to play Zeus now,
which is awesome.
Which is his second MCU role.
Is it?
He played Ego.
No, that's Kurt Russell.
Was it?
Yeah, Kurt Russell played Ego of the Living Planet. Yeah, they just look alike because they have long hair and beards now.
Oh, okay. Right? So they're not the same person. Never mind then.
But he did play Jor-El in Man of Steel. So he walks between worlds now.
So this movie is full of DC actors coming to do good movies. Jokes, everybody. Jokes.
Yeah, Christian Bale, Batman. There you go. But the scene that blew up the internet, I haven't seen that. So what are people saying?
So yeah, we get Zeus and Jane and Valkyrie are in the background just kind of watching, and Zeus does his little thing, rips all of Thor's clothes off, and we get a nude scene with Thor.
Yeah.
So everybody's freaking out about that.
Yeah.
All that bullshit aside, here's two things. One, I'll be interested to see if because it's blurred out for the trailer for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
I'll be interested to see if they blur it out for the movie.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, we'll see.
The better part of that is if you pay attention, the tattoo he has on his back, it's a back piece of Loki.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a giant back tattoo of Loki, which is phenomenal.
Loki must have done that to him as like he doesn't know that it's there, maybe, or something like that. That's funny. That's awesome.
I'm so excited for this. I never in a million years would have thought that Thor would be like one of my favorite characters, but here we are, and I think this movie's gonna be phenomenal.
It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
Some leaked photos from the set of Blue Beetle movie have given us the first look at the Blue Beetle suit. It's pretty much like straight from the comics. I think it looks pretty good. It's all practical, which is nice to see. He kind of looks like a Beetleborg, if anybody remembers that show back in the day. But yeah, let's see how this movie plays out. Not
big
a huge
Beetleborg?
Blue Beetle. Yeah, big bad Beetleborgs. We'll see how this movie plays out. I'm sure they can make it fun, hopefully. So we'll see. But the suit, I mean, they got me with the suit. It looks good.
Suit looks phenomenal.
All right. Yeah. And the headpiece too. That doesn't look. It's hard to like picture that in live action. Like that might look kind of goofy, but it kind of works. Do
you see the rumors too that Ted Kord's in this movie?
Oh, I did not hear that. That'd be sick.
And the guy who plays Ted Lasso is rumored to be playing him. This is like super rumor speculation stuff, but
okay.
I think that'd be cool.
Jason Sudeikis, yeah, that would be great because he's a great actor. He can do the funny without being funny kind of thing, like trying to be serious but funny. I can see a Ted Kord like that. Like if that's the route they're going with the Blue Beetle movie, like that sets the tone with him. I'd be down for that because that's almost like a Shazam style lightheartedness, I would think.
Well, and then if you want to spin him off and do Booster and Beetle, like he would be perfect in that role.
Oh yeah. And then we just got to get someone else. We got to get like a Nathan Fillion for Booster Gold. Oh my god, please! That's all I want. I've asked for it for years. Maybe one day it'll come true. But yeah, so that looks cool. I'm gonna watch it when it comes out. Let's get to this interview that Chris has done with Derek Robertson. I'm gonna drop out, unfortunately, but give him all my love, and we'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back to the other side. I brought Mike back.
The other side, and I'm back. I came back. I got through the time stream or something, and here I am. Yeah. So Batman Fortress. I really like that book, so check it out. The art is fantastic. If you didn't see my tweet, go look at it. I was reading it and I was like, damn, like this is a good Batman. And then I made the joke with Derek that like that's the chin of justice because he does like a really defined like butt chin for Batman, which is not bad. I wasn't making fun of it at all. But he's a good sport about that stuff. He's been drawing for lots of years, so he's one to take criticism really well. He's a good sport. So
we'll talk more heavily about that book in a little bit, but for some reason I really liked his Jim Gordon.
Yeah, his Jim Gordon looks really good too. Yeah. He's such a great artist. Okay, so comic news, everybody. DC has announced that Mark Waid's World's Finest comic, as well as the recent Shadow War event, is getting a spin-off this summer called Batman vs. Robin. Okay. The series will so they're like, you have two events, we're going to mix them together and make one event. The series will feature art from Mahmoud Asrar and will pit Bruce Wayne against Damian Wayne as he is taken under the spell of Naza. Okay, so we're getting the whole Devil Naza thing from World's Finest, and they're bringing that into the Shadow War, where Damian and Batman have kind of split.
And you skipped the most important part there, written by Mark Waid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, written by Mark Waid. Yeah.
I read this press release like 8 times because I'm like, how is World's Finest going to spin into Shadow War?
Yeah,
World's Finest takes place in the past.
Right. So they're not really part of each other.
No, but I kept going over, like, missing the part where the demon, the Neza, or whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, yeah.
Was a part of it, and that's the only connection.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because Shadow War is kind of wonky to me. I'm not really too into it, but I love in World Finest and Mark Waid's writing it, so yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
in.
check this out. I mean, I think it's.
Mhm.
I understand what they're doing with Damien right now. They're trying to heel turn him and make him kind of a bad guy again, which I'm not a
Yep.
big fan of. But
We've gone through the
sure,
cycles.
yeah,
Marvel has announced that Star Wars: The High Republic is getting a new #1 this October. Creative team will be at the helm of the series. Writer Kevin Scott, artist Ario and Anindito, but will shift the focus of the story to the planet Jeddah, a force-sensitive planet. Oh, that's where they mine all the kyber crystals, right?
yes.
Um, are you? So, what do you think? I mean, you're reading High Republic. You like this team? They're just going on a new story arc.
I'm in. I mean, I'm enjoying High Republic. I like Kevin Scott's Star Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to add there, other than just the High Republic's been really good. What those two have done with that world so far has been just phenomenal. If you're a lapsed Star Wars fan, or you're just kind of sick of the Empire time era, this is really good. If you were a fan of the Old Republic or the Knights of the Republic, like, it takes some of that, except we're in a little bit of a different era where like the Jedi reign supreme and they're kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the gold standard for the galaxy. So I'm down. I'm down for more. I've since Marvel took over, I've been buying every Star Wars comic. I'm going to continue until they turn to trash. So, and that
Yep.
hasn't happened yet. I can't think of a bad Star Wars comic since Marvel took over.
You just cursed them.
I did.
Yeah, there it
Well,
is.
when you announce you're getting Star Wars and you put Jason Aaron as your like lead Star Wars writer, like, you're coming out the gate swinging. And it's
Yeah.
been pretty much all-star creators since then. Even Kevin Scott, like, he did a lot of the all ages Star Wars stuff for a while, and this was his first shot at like uh, grown up, quote unquote, Star Wars. But he's killed it in everything he's done. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like it all.
Okay. Let's talk about what we read this week. I had a lot of Kickstarter books that I got to catch up on. When I got the Night Wrath book, it came with a bunch of like indie add-ons, so I read a bunch of stuff. I finished up Curse Words Volume 1, so really good. Love that book. You were totally on point with the art's amazing. The first story arc's great, and I can't wait to get into the next story arc. I read this book called Magic Powder #1 and 2. This is a Kickstarter book from Jeffrey Paul Lewis Schiller. Yes, there's 4 names. Uh, it's an interesting take on like a fantasy world with like dwarves and goblins and elves, and basically magic powder is how you do magic, and it's almost treated like cocaine or something like that. So it's almost like a crime like a crime movie that's based off like magic and like these characters that you know from like D&D. So it's a really cool twist. There's like magical weapons and stuff, but it's almost like watching The Departed or something, but like if every character was like a, you know, a magical beast. So it's a really cool story. It's called The Magic Powder. I recommend it. Icabod Jones #1. This is from Russell Nolte and Fenzo Podesta. Russell Nolte is a previous show guest. So this book, interesting art. The art almost reminds me of like Chew style, where it's kind of like slightly cartoonish, but it's also like something grim and gruesome is happening. So this kid or guy is like in a asylum and like sees this monster chasing him, and his head keeps telling him like, you need to fight back this monster, like you're a monster hunter. And he keeps thinking it's in his head, and like he kills the beast by the end of it. And it's like, okay, we have more work to do. That's how it wraps up. It was a cool first issue. I really liked it. Spider-Squirrel #1. I finally got around to reading this one. This was another previous show guest. This was I think this was the first issue. Kind of involves a lot of different writers and artists, like different. It's basically like Spider-Squirrel is jumping from universe to universe, pretty much. So we get like a different take on each universe and the characters. Yeah, Charlie McKelvey was the previous guest we had on. So like Trash Panda, we talked about that. We talked about this book, but the art's amazing. It was a really fun story because it involves like a multiverse, so it involves a lot of like shitty heroes and villains. I really like that.
Quick shout out, issue 2 and 3 are on Kickstarter right now for that book.
Hell yeah. Go read it and fund it. Back it. I read 8 Billion Genies. You were right. That book is awesome. Nothing more to be said there. Shaolin Cowboy came back. This was like this kind of like was under my radar because Shaolin Cowboy is this book that's just like amazing. It's a silent Shaolin Cowboy that goes through like this post-apocalyptic desert and just fights things and talks about his code because he's a Buddhist and like very passive, but also like he's really cool at killing stuff. So like this is a Cruel to Be Kin is a new story arc of 7 issues. Jeff Darrow, Dave Stewart doing the colors. Jeff Darrow's story, his art is amazing, very detailed. And this issue is wild. Like it's a lizard talking about how he met this Shaolin cowboy in the desert, and he's like recalling a story of like how he beat the shit out of this lizard. Like he fights like a Komodo dragon in the desert, and then he finds this crazy guy that like I don't know if he's using magic, but he's like floating on this thing in the desert, and he has like a dinosaur pterodactyl like as like his minion. And so there's this crazy fight where he sends the pterodactyl down, and like Shaolin cowboys fighting it, and the art is absolutely amazing. Like everybody needs to check this out. He's almost floating on like a giant jellyfish. It's crazy. This book is insane. And then like he's fighting him, and as he's fighting him, they're like running through the desert, and he finds this old car. And because the Shaolin cowboy kills the pterodactyl, so he like resurrects the car and the drivers. So like there's this car chasing him with like skeletons driving. And the Shaolin cowboy, he just has like his umbrella that's a sword, like a sheath for a sword. It's insane. The book is insane. I don't know how he got here. There really isn't much plot to this other than it's like a kung fu movie, but the art is so detailed. If I had to describe his art, it's almost like Frank Quitely drawing it. So if you're a fan of Frank Quitely, if you're a fan of cowboys and Shaolin monks, read this book through Dark Horse. So I don't know. Did you ever read that?
No, but just in my head, it's like you're a fan of cowboys and Shaolin monks, like the crossover there.
Yeah, dude, you need to read it. It's because I picked up the trade a long time ago because this has been a thing that's been going on for years. Really, it's a really good series. The art speaks for itself. It's one of those books where it's just a lot of amazing art. This is Iron Fist.
The first one just called Shaolin Cowboy?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'll add it to my wish list.
I think there's a couple volumes out now. So Iron Fist number 3. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Iron Fist is trying to control his powers. It reveals that his friend's dad is a demon and like is trying to get the shards of the sword that he had. So he like basically takes the shards and he puts them in his arms, and it gives him almost like the iron. Like that's how he's channeling the Iron Fist power. I think it's his brother is like evil and is like looking for he's looking for these like dark he's going to these dark destroyer tombs, they're called, like these old gods, and he's like stealing their powers so he can like I don't know if they're all powers, but they have weapons that imbue their power, so he's looking to do that. And at the end of it, the Iron Fist like gets away, and he gets met with 2 other immortal weapons that are like part of this whole that aren't Iron Fist, but they're different. They utilize different weapons. So this series has been really good. I like it so far. It's almost like Shang-Chi, so I like my kung fu stuff.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
DC versus Vampires Hunters number 1. So this is a DC Vampires tie-in. Did you read this?
No, I didn't get to it.
Okay. So basically it's like the vampires have taken over the city, fallen Gotham City. Damian is working for the vampires to like kill heroes. And the person in charge is is Dick Grayson, which gets revealed at the end. It's basically like after the end of the fallout after the last issue of Vampires, where like some people went underground, some people got bit and turned. So Damian's a vampire. He like turns in Martian Manhunter, says he kills him to try to get a meeting with Dick Grayson, but he's really working for like Alfred and Martian Manhunter, like underground with all the heroes. So he's a vampire, but still like they couldn't actually turn him to like get him to work for him. So they have this big plan. They're like, that didn't get me a meeting with Nightwing. So what he does is he brings in Alfred and he says that like I captured Alfred, and it's like a plan to like get in and fight Dick Grayson. So like the fight happens. But what's going on is Dick Grayson saw the fight happen. Like he knew this was a trap. So like he's about to kill Alfred. So Damian gets in his way and he's like dying, and Alfred lets him bite him in the neck and drink his blood. So like, but there's a conversation between Alfred and Dick Grayson at the end where he's like, I don't want Damian to die. Like, you can go and take care of him. Like, I still care about him, but like, there's a greater plan going on here that he's not part of. So, Dick Grayson is still being reasonable. Like, he's not trying to kill people that he loves. He just thinks that the way of the vampire is the way to go. So I thought it was a good issue.
I look forward to reading it. I mean, it's DC versus vampires.
Yeah.
It has Damian Wayne in it. It should be right up my alley, right?
Yeah, exactly. Task Force Z. Basically, Red Hood's got to steal the Lazarus pills from Batman. He gets caught by the Bat family and gets away.
Okay.
That's pretty much that episode, that issue. Batman Fortress #1. This is the Commissioner Gordon. I'm looking at Commissioner Gordon looks awesome. You're right. Derek Robertson draws this book. I think he does a great job with the characters. It's based. Who is that? Gary Whitta that wrote it, right?
Yep.
It's a story of an invasion is happening. Something has turned off all the power in the entire world, and I think it's funny that Jim Gordon removes all the. It's something to be said that when Jim Gordon removes all the batteries from the police cars just to turn the bat signal on, that was a funny interaction there.
That scene when Bullock's like, we should be going out and just randomly, searching for crime, blah blah blah, and Jim just looks at him and goes, "Yeah, you want to do it?" And he just shuts up. He's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
now just help me get this done."
Exactly. Right. He's like, "You want to go out there and do that?" So also we find out Arkham. There's no power. It's all electrically operated doors, of course. So he like goes and grabs Penguin and Joker and throws them back in jail. Haven't heard from Superman, which is concerning, right? And now he's basically said like, okay, these aliens have declared war, and we're going to fight back by the end of it. I thought it was a good first issue.
Yeah, I dug the like montage of getting all the villains. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
His moment with Joker, where he's like, I could just do nothing now and this will all end. I really liked, because I feel like that's got to be a constant struggle inside of Bruce. Just all in all, great issue.
Awesome stuff. Saga 59. The main takeaways from this issue are they're done working with the criminals. They're going to leave now. And they kind of trade off some crew members. So they bring some of the young band members, want to travel with them, but also the mercenary dude that's traveling with them stays with the pirate. He made him an offer to work with him. I don't think we'll ever see them ever again. Wink, wink. I mean, they made him almost an important character, talking about his background. And then at the end, Robot is talking to Hazel and says that he loves her, like romantically loves her. So I'm sure we're gonna see how that unfolds. And then I had one more this week. This would be Godzilla versus Power Rangers #3. This book is just wild. This is Cullen Bunn doing his thing with this book. Is so much fun. I I gotta show you the cover for the 4th issue. Made me even more excited. Is this crazy? Oh man, let's see if I can hold. Well, no, you can't see it. Okay, if I hold it in front of me, there's like Ghidorah with the 3 heads, and then the Power Rangers. It's sick, dude. Every page of this, like this page here is Godzilla with a Megazord about to fight some monsters from Power Rangers. This book is insane. Like the art is so much fun. Every page is just like, oh man, what monster are they going to fight next? Like there's this panel here, which is you got the Megazord and Godzilla side by side, like blasting and using the sword. Like what's the plot? I don't even care. All these things are fighting. I don't care. I don't care what the plot is. They're whatever the Power Ranger villain's like, yeah, I'm going to take over the multiverse, whatever, and then Godzilla comes back because he's never dead, and they're still fighting more monsters. It's just awesome. Like Cullen Bunn gets it, man. This art is amazing. I got to give a shout out to the artist. I'm going to look them up, but overall, this book is so much fun. I'm glad it exists. But that's all I had this weekend.
Freddie something the third is the artist, right?
I'm going to look it up right now. Freddie Williams the second. Yeah, so you were close.
Second.
Yeah. I have a bunch of books that I didn't get to this week. I did read so much that I just couldn't, like the Dark Knight or White Knight Beyond and stuff like that I haven't got to. So
I had the same problem this week. A lot going on. So next week I'll just have a shitload to talk about. But I did read the important stuff, like Devil's Reign Omega, number 1.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
This basically sets up like where a bunch of the characters are going to be moving forward. So we got Daredevil looking for Kingpin with Reed Richards, which is a fun scene. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of just leads into nobody can find where Kingpin is. So we get to the funeral of Matt Murdock, which is really Matt Murdock's twin brother from another dimension. But anyways, and all the heroes are there, so it's kind of like this whole funeral scene. And then we get Daredevil, Elektra Daredevil, and Luke Cage and the original Iron Fist, not the new Iron Fist, Danny.
Okay.
Decide that they're going to go stop a bank robbery. And when they get there, the Thunderbolts squad is still there. So we get this. That's basically to say that Luke may be mayor of New York now, but he still has to deal with the laws of the previous administration, how he's going to deal with that. And then in the background, Jessica Jones goes and finds one of the leftover purple kids and ends up adopting him. And
that's nice of her.
Little family dynamics that happen there. And we end the first story with somebody going up to Matt Murdock's grave and leaving the stone that brought him to life in the casket. So I'm guessing his twin brother isn't dead. And then there was a few stories I didn't personally care for because it's not my bag. It was a Luke Cage story to set up the new Luke Cage book. He's the mayor and he also fights crime. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. And then trying to remember what the other one was. Oh, I didn't read the other one. That's how much I didn't care. But there's a lot of
that's awesome.
It honestly sets up a lot of like Luke Cage and Iron Fist stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also sets up in the main story that we know that Daredevil and Elektra are going off and trying to fight crime on a grander scale. And their big plan is to fight the Hand. So that's somehow going to cross over what's happening with Punisher. And I didn't get to read Punisher issue 3 yet, but I'll let you know next week about that. So I'm also seeing a heel turn there where I think Punisher is now going to become a bad guy. And is going to be in the Chip Zdarsky Daredevil book. But we will see. And then I read Batman Beyond the White Knight. Was this issue 3? Book 3, actually. It's not issue, it's a book 3. So we find out that Bruce and Harley were married in the last issue. We find out the reason for it in this issue. And then Bruce kind of gets at one of his suits and adjusts it because he doesn't want to be Batman. He just wants to go out and stop Beyond. Which was whatever. And then we find out that Derek Powers in this universe, he worked with Victor Fries. If you remember the one-shot Batman White Knight presents Victor Freeze.
Yeah.
It ties into what happened there. So that's why that book exists. I was always wondering why that book existed. And then we get Bruce and Terry finally meeting and having their like big fight. And in the background to that was Duke meets with Barbara Gordon and is like, I want to leave the GTO. I want to come back to being a cop. I don't like this stuff anymore. And she goes, well, I don't need you to be a cop right now. I need you to be something else. And she hands him a Robin suit.
Damn.
So during the Bruce and Beyond fight, he shows up as Robin. He hits Bruce. Bruce falls off a building onto a car. And that's where kind of the issue ends.
Is he just a giant jacked Robin?
Yeah. Like,
that's so funny.
Imagine Luke Cage with a Robin costume.
Yeah, because he's he's not just like Duke, he's like powerlifter Duke in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Good issue, a lot of action, some backstory of like where powers came from, what his kind of motivation is, why he's doing what he's doing. And I like there's a scene in there in the beginning where they're talking about Harley and Bruce's marriage. And as we know, Joker is kind of in Bruce's head with that nano chip. So he's talking about it too. And that kind of three-way conversation where Bruce can hear both, but was very fun and interesting. So I really like that as well.
Awesome.
Mike, that's everything I had this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and you can find the show at fortresscomicnews.com or at fortresscomics_ on Twitter. I did that backwards this week.
Wow.
Remember, everybody, to like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube, to give us the 5 stars on whatever podcatcher you use, whether it be iTunes or whatever. And if you want to go the extra mile, patreon.com/fortresscomics. Thank you all so much for listening and watching this week. And we will see you all here next week.